The views and opinions of this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers. There is substantial risk of loss in trading futures and options, which you should carefully consider prior to trading.
Make sure to subscribe to the Market Talk YouTube channel. You can watch our latest interviews with top market analysts in the country, find bonus content, and much more. It's easy. Just go to youtube.com/@MarketTalkAg and hit the subscribe button. Or you can search for Market Talk Ag on YouTube.
Well, as we wrapped up the week of trade on Friday and saw a March WASDE report come and go, we found a little bit of strength in the grains and oilseeds led by soybeans and by the wheat complex. We also put some triple-digit losses into cattle futures. We're going to talk about all that and more here on today's program. Joining us for market analysis as we recap the week of the trade, Dwayne Bussey with Bolt Marketing is joining us. Dwayne, it's good to have you back with us here on Market Talk. And you know what? Hey, some positivity for us to talk about heading into the weekend there on the grain side. It was a pretty solid close with a mostly uneventful WASDE report Friday, Dwayne.
Yeah, which is great. Just to dive right into those numbers, everyone was watching the Brazil soybean production forecast, right? And USDA only lowered it 1 million metric ton when the trade was looking for more like a 3 to 4 drop. And really the private forecasts are almost as much as 10 million metric ton under USDA. So, at least. So that was disappointing, but look at the trade reaction. I mean, after the winter we've had of new contract lows, you saying that every afternoon, this felt really good today. This whole week felt really good.
Yeah, this whole week did feel really, really good. It seemed to me that Brazil number, although it surprised a lot of traders, I think you dive through the numbers more. I mean, the global ending stocks across the board came down a little bit too. Yep. I just felt like a lot of this activity was already kind of priced in. And you mentioned this to me, some of the China numbers, some revisions there maybe helped us out as well, especially on that soy side, Dwayne.
Yeah, I think so. China soybean imports up 3 million metric ton to 105. You go back a week ago, we were talking poor economic news out of China, and they're never going to buy anything again. And, if they do, it's from anyone other than us. Middle of this week, they had some good economic data. Now USDA dumps this on us, good weekly exports. So yeah, that soybean number from China is a big deal because I think the trade discounted that USDA didn't drop the Brazil soybean crop as much as we want. I think everyone thinks it's just coming. So the bearish news was discounted, and the bullish surprise of China imports really forced us up here today. And what a great close. What a great way to end the week.
Yeah, good way to end the week. The corn market was pretty quiet Friday, but I'm not too concerned about that necessarily. Just the way corn has been, we've rallied off the lows here. I mean, we could have done better, but in the same token, I think I'm okay with where corn headed into the weekend. What's your thoughts there, Dwayne?
Oh, more than okay. Yeah, I know it's only up a penny, but with the gains throughout the week above the 20-day moving average yesterday, I mean, we all thought that was a huge victory. And then today, our entire trading range was above the 20-day moving average. I don't know how high things can go. I know that's only my job, but let me back up and say the action this week really makes me feel confident that the lows are in. I feel really good about saying the lows are in for corn and soybeans. I can't quite call a low yet in wheat, but man, the trade action was very good this week. We're going to find out here in a little bit, the commitment of traders report. Just a little bit fearful that funds got out of a lot of short positions and only rallied this much, because I got a feeling every rally we get in corn is going to be met by a lot of farmers selling. But I guess we'll see. We'll see when that report comes out too.
Well, thinking about that point, I've heard some of that chatter that maybe some funds have got out of their short positions here. And so we'll see what the CFTC data shows. But farmers selling, with some of these rallies, we've got pretty good weather right now. And I'm hearing a lot of talk of a lot of folks already starting field work. So I'll kind of throw the double-edged sword at you here. I mean, if farmers are getting busy with field work, maybe they're not paying attention and not selling on some of this rally. I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Dwayne? You're smiling at me, buddy.
I am, but you're right. That's when we typically do rally. We rally and when farmers are busy and the selling did back off. And maybe we got some panic selling down at the bottom or just get me out, because the basis improved. And now that the market's starting to rally, maybe farmers backed off like, ooh, let's just see where this goes. You could very well be right. And to mention, farmers getting busy, I'm further north in South Dakota, right? But I've got rumors of guys planting a lot of spring wheat already in central South Dakota. I know it's super early, but yeah, something like 4,000 acres seeded. And it's like, whoa, what? So yeah, field conditions. I drove to Grand Forks, North Dakota yesterday and back. Everything's prepped and ready. There's no snow. And I know, in the I-states, you guys are that way all the time. But for us, we usually worry about the late plant date, not the early plant date. So I'm getting questions I got to look up and say, I don't know, early plant date, there is such a thing. So we are definitely prepped and ready to go. That's for sure.
Well, thinking about that, though, I know it's pretty dry, to your point, across the northern plains, especially. So I wonder if there's some concern about that here. But then again, it's early. We have plenty of time here to get some moisture, Dwayne.
I'm hearing that concern from a lot of farmers, but they really shouldn't be. We're really not that dry. I think it's just the way the weather is. Now, we had like 2 good inches of rain in December. Well, if that was snow and we kept it all winter long, no one would be worried about moisture. It's just we're in early March and no one sees any snow. So we start to think of the years like this, like 2012 and in the drought that happened then, and we think we're dry. It's not that horrible up here. And I don't mean to discredit, northern North Dakota is pretty darn dry, but man, it's so early, like you mentioned. Let us get this stuff planted and have a rain on a, Saturday night so we can have a Sunday off and we'll be sitting just perfect. So you're right.
Well, I want to shift our discussion a little bit here. I know we had a WASDE on Friday, but largely I think we kind of checked the boxes, so to speak. It was uneventful. We got planting intentions and quarterly grain stocks coming up here in just a couple of weeks' time. Yeah. With all this nice weather, I wonder what some of those planting intentions could look like here, Dwayne. If some of this nice weather has helped make some decisions for growers, and I know that set of reports could be where we get some fireworks here in this market in a couple of weeks' time.
Oh, you're 1,000% correct there. That's always big reports, and up here in, the fringe areas, we can flip our acres a lot, right? There's not a whole lot of fertilizer and hydrous that's put down in the fall. So we could go either way with things. A lot of times I laugh and joke in this office because we see that March 30th planting intentions report. And then up here, we can flip our intentions a little bit. But weather is the number one really driver of what we plant, it seems like. I mean, price and weather. I've all winter long been kind of thinking, that 4 million acre switch, which is right where USDA is kind of at too. And I think we're thinking that way because it just works out math wise. Soybeans kind of need the acres. Corn really can lose 4 million acres. They don't need it at all. So it just made sense to have a big shift like that. But I mean, I know everyone is planting soybeans earlier and earlier, but you get this far north and we can get nipped by a frost pretty bad and that'll kill the beans. It won't kill the corn. I'm just a little bit worried. We get a really good start. Maybe there's a few more spring wheat acres and I don't know if then the trade estimates, because it's too high already, but say there's a little bit more spring wheat, a little bit more corn acres. That leaves beans maybe a little bit short. And maybe we need more days like today where November beans are up 20 cents to make sure they buy those 4 million acres.
Well, to that point, I was going to say, looking at the price of spring wheat right now, I mean, does it pencil out? Does it make sense compared to, say, quarter soybeans? Because, I mean, wheat's fallen off quite a bit. Yeah, we got a rally to end the week, but I don't know. Your thoughts on that? I mean, do the economics make sense here, Dwayne?
It really depends on your wheat yield that you throw in there. And for the average spreadsheet, I'm going to say it doesn't pencil out, but boy, some of these spring wheat yields lately have been through the roof. I mean, last year we had a ton of guys around here with 80 bushel spring wheat. If I throw that number in there, it looks better than soybeans right now. And I've always had a lot of guys tell me like, well, I'd plant wheat if we ever had a normal spring again. Well, this is looking as normal and good as we've ever been, but I don't know. Now we'll see if they actually can do it or fall through. I know personally on my farm, I haven't planted spring wheat in so long. I don't have any good APH. I don't have a good crop history. So then my insurance isn't very low. It'll make me just scrap it no matter what and still stick to a corn soybean rotation.
We are having a conversation today with Dwayne Bussey from Bolt Marketing as we recap the market trade for the week and the WASDE report and more. Dwayne, let's talk risk management a little bit here more on the grains. And you brought up crop insurance. We've set a lot of those average prices. So, I mean, your thoughts now that we've set some of those prices, we're looking at our management plan here heading into spring planting. I mean, anything really changing for you here this window as far as risk management across the grain trade? What's your thoughts, Dwayne?
Well, I don't know if it's changing. What we did do the last week and a half is start to really set some price targets for guys. Because as bullish as this looks this week, if we plant it early, I'm a little bit worried maybe we could have a higher corn yield than trend. I mentioned that a group of farmers about got my head bit off yesterday. It's possible. Risk managed towards that, I guess, is my thought. So, yeah, a few other things we have added is maybe some courage calls up above. I mean, we talked about that once during the winter, then the market went even lower. Maybe now that I can say that I feel like the lows are in, we need to look at those courage calls again. And what I mean by that is, buy a call option that gives you the courage that once we get up close to that strike level, you sell the cash, whether that's old or new crop, and then you still got that call option if it goes up higher. Because we got to remember, we still have a ton of supplies out there, Jesse. And probably the biggest mistake I could see is a farmer in the Dakotas hang on to stuff into late August, because the basis is improving now, but boy, you get later on, they're going to have enough to get to harvest, and it'll show. That basis will slam down in 2 days, and then you're going to be left holding your crop. So don't be that guy.
Well, and to that point, there's a lot of producers across the country who are in that situation where they're stuck holding their old crop right now. We've heard the talk. A lot of farmers in the U.S., a lot of farmers in South America too, woefully undersold with old crop. But then on top of that, you got new crop to think about and protecting some of that downside risk in the new crop. So there's kind of a lot to unpack here still, Dwayne.
It is. And that's why it's funny. Last Sunday or a week ago or whatever, I was making these plans. And for old crop corn, I'll just state it out there. I was thinking, you get to 450 on May, you go out to July, you sell that carry, be done with your old crop. And just a blink of an eye, I'm like, oh, we're only like 10 cents away from that now. So now I want to do what every farmer does, because I'm a farmer as well. Well, maybe I should cancel or push that sale higher. I'm not going to, though. I'm going to really try to stick to that, see if I can get a good basis bid out to a June, July timeframe, maybe sell it just picked up off my farm. Get rid of that. And if I'm wrong, Jesse, if that was a bad move, then what happened? Price went higher. I'll just start staggering that new crop sales out there. The great bull run is over. It really is. I mean, unless we have a complete weather disaster. Now you watch since I said that, but I'm going to go back and say the great bull run's over. We just need to make money anymore now. So marketing plans are more important than ever again. The last 3 years, you didn't really need one, did you? You can just farm, sell when you think you're at the high, you're going to make money either way. Boy, now that we got over $2 billion for netting stock and corn, marketing plans are back in play.
One other quick note on the wheat trade too. Are you worried about some of these Chinese cancellations of SRW wheat we've seen here to end the week, Dwayne?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I don't like to see it for sure. And having one yesterday and one today kind of makes me know that there could be 2 or 3 more left Monday and Tuesday, because that's how many they bought. They bought, 4 to 5 cargoes at least, I think, from us. So there could be more cancellations. And when you look at the economics behind it, this could be a deal where China's just canceling just to rebuy it down here too. It's dropped that hard. What bothers me about wheat is Russia's wheat price. Below 200 per ton now. They just keep dropping it every week. It's just a fire sale all the time. It's going to be hard for us to rally our wheat market here until the global wheat prices can find a bottom at least.
Yeah, and USDA added, I think, another 500,000 metric tons to the Russian wheat estimate as well on the March WASDE. Yeah. So we apparently keep finding more Russian wheat to sell at cheap prices. So we just have to kind of roll with that. All right, let's talk livestock. Let's look at cattle here, Dwayne. Some losses to end the week on the future side Friday, but I know the WASDE was favorable to beef production, so a little caveat there. Cash trade is slowly wrapping up on Friday as well. But I mean, your thoughts of this cattle trade? Sour-ish note to end the week, but still looking okay. I mean, what's your thoughts on cattle, Dwayne?
If you didn't know the fundamentals and how they've been in the last 24 hours, you'd look at a chart and say, whoa, there's your top. That looks ugly. But I'm still friendly. I mean, like I said, the chart looks horrible. What a horrible way to end it. And so maybe I'm wrong come Monday, but I started buying more of it again today. Cash feeders finally poking through that 250 on the index. Now, the index, remember, that's a 5-day average back, so you're not going to see that quite yet. And maybe what all we had to do here in the futures market is just erase that premium. We've had to have such a big premium, and it's been too much for a guy to really buy and feel comfortable about it. But with the pullback now we're getting close to cash. But cash was finally going up yesterday and today. Fats, cash cattle higher there too. But yeah, April got right up against that 190 mark, and we can't bust through that, and down we go again. Maybe some profit taking from the guys who have bought before. The chart does look toppy, but I'm going to call its bluff and say that we're going to be higher again next week, but I sure hope so.
Well, and to that point too, I mean, economic data, we've had a lot of that out this past week. Jobs data, jobs number was good. I mean, think about, domestic demand roped into this cattle market too. And I mean, for better or worse, that economic data seemed to be supportive here overall this week, Dwayne. So maybe that's another piece of the puzzle. That's
just it, Jesse. It doesn't feel like we should be at the high yet. Now, of course, the futures market is called the futures market, right? And it does top before they let me know the top is going to be in. But I just don't think we're there yet. The funds didn't buy a lot. Our supplies are so tight. I'm still hearing packers are buying every kill cow they can find. And, so they're not going back to feedlots. They're being slaughtered right now, no matter what they weigh, because they need the production. They need the meat that bad. Those storms last winter, I think, did really put the hole in production here. Weights are still good. The only thing that scares me about it is how bullish I am, Jesse.
All right, so note to self, Dwayne's got his bullhorns on still here in this cattle market.
Got to duck out when I get out of the office today. Yep.
How about over in the hog trade? A lot of spread action all week long. Yeah. Summer months up above 100. I mean, that to me feels like some good levels to get some protection on here in this hog market, Dwayne.
Yeah, no, I think you're right there too. April ran up and ran into some resistance around that, $88 mark and pulled back. Probably was too far away from the cash, but cash is creeping up to meet it. Now I feel like 84 is too low for April to be, with cash trending the way it is. And I love the back months being up that high. It just shows that, again, like you said, positive U.S. economic data. People are spending money. Grilling season looks like it's starting early. Might have to do some of that this weekend now that I think about it. It looks great. But to your point, just a few months ago, I had nothing good to say about hogs. China was reducing their herd size. They didn't need us. Now exports have picked up, US dollar lower, and all of a sudden things look good. So that being said, maybe hedging some 103 plus summer hogs is probably a pretty good idea. If you're bullish, just buy some put options then, but put some sort of floor, because a couple of months ago, I had nothing good to say about the industry.
Well, a decent end to the week on Friday across the board for the most part. So wrap this up for us here, Dwayne. Final thoughts. What do you want to tell folks or reiterate to them as they're looking at the markets through the weekend and getting into the middle of the month? I mean, what would you say to folks right now?
Good week, but let's remember what we were talking about just 2 or 3 weeks ago. We were talking about this burdensome supply we had, a ton of farmers selling up above. Now, if the funds want to get out of short positions, this market could push quite a ways, but take that as an opportunity to sell it and get rid of that old crop. I mean, for months, all we've done is complain about why didn't we sell before. You get a rally here, we get above 12 on beans, you get above that 450 on nearby corn. Sell it, let it go, guys. There's brokers out there to help you through it if you want to buy it afterwards. Call options are still fairly cheap, Jesse, and that's going to end pretty soon if this keeps rallying up.
Well, Dwayne, if folks need some advice and they want to work through a marketing plan, they want to talk to you about it there at Bolt Marketing, how can they get in touch with you, Dwayne?
Yeah, they can call us directly here, 605-448-2365, or they can check us out online at boltmarketingllc.com.
Dwayne, thanks so much for the time, as always, here on Market Talk. Good to catch up with you, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Appreciate it.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jesse.
Dwayne Bussey there with Bolt Marketing joining us here on Market Talk today. That's going to do it for the show. Find us at markettalkag.com. I'm Jesse Allen. Have a great weekend.